guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Tuesday the 25th of September 2018. I'm using the Radiant Rider Waite deck for this reading today because it's the full moon in Aries. I've made a separate video on that. Check that video out. The full moon has a big effect on us and how we feel. Let's see what the cards have to say on the energy and what's going on, and what they want to add. Don't fear the moon, first of all, is a good message. Okay. So, two major arcana cards, the moon and judgment, and then a court card, the page of cups. Now, the moon, when it's upright, represents a journey that seems really scary and frightening, and you really have to give yourself a kind of stern talking to before you go on this path. You've got lobsters clawing at you, you've got jackals howling, and you've got to make your way through this somehow. And to get to the end of that, it doesn't seem easy. Then you have to deal with the snipers, I don't know what's up there. So it's fear. And we've got this moon that looks angry. It's not a happy face, is it? So that's shining down and spreading this energy of fear. Sometimes I love the full moon. I always have. But some people find it difficult to sleep. Some people... I read, when I was doing my astrology studies years ago, I read that in prisons and things that they report much more incidents happening during the full moon than at regular times, because we are all heightened and everything is bigger. So the card is in reverse. You don't need to be afraid of this full moon. This full moon is in Aries, and it's very much about moving forward, but also it's about taking responsibility for what you're doing, what your part in things is. And it's not so much, when you think Aries, you think about galloping forward and moving ahead, don't you? But what the cards are saying is that you're not going to be galloping forward. You're not destined today to arise from your slumber and from this faulty path that you've been on, and to suddenly have this beautiful, amazing, divine awakening where you see an angel in the clouds and it calls to you and it says, come and do this. There's none of that going on today either. You don't have some great epiphany in terms of what's happening. What you understand and what you see is that you do want to move forward with life, that you do want to progress, that you don't want to be afraid, but that emotionally there's some things that need to be tidied up, and they are meant to be tidied up so that you can grow up and you can become an adult and take responsibility for what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're impacting other people's lives. So on this day, you may just be out shopping and suddenly you get a flash in your mind of the 5 people you hustled a couple of years ago and who you stole money from, and you get this huge pang of guilt. And then you have a choice. We can't sit with those feelings. It doesn't just become a pang of guilt, it becomes a feeling that's painful. And when we have those unacceptable, painful, emotional thoughts in our lives, we do a number of things. Most common is that the person feeling those uncomfortable feelings will turn to something or someone to alleviate those feelings. So eating something, smoking, drinking, having sex with a partner, engaging in certain behaviors that cause you a thrill and take your mind off things, gambling. All sorts of addictions can come up because of pain. I read an Eckhart Tolle quote recently, and it said, every addiction starts with pain and ends with pain. And that's true. You start the addiction because you're in pain, you want to numb it out. And to come off the substance, you then have two problems. You have the substance that you need to come off, which is painful in itself, but then you have the pain that originally caused you to become addicted in the first place, and you have to deal with that. So today is not a day for sissies, and as a gay man myself, I don't mean that in a derogatory kind of way. I mean that in a way that today is not for people who like to live in denial and can't face the truth. You're gonna get a bit of a wake-up call here today during this full moon. There's nothing to be afraid of, or at least you don't feel like there's anything to be afraid of. So, also when you're walking in the lion's den, you don't know it's a lion's den and then there's a lion in there, you wouldn't be afraid either. You'd just skip on in, wouldn't you? So you're walking along, everything's fine. There's no great epiphany that comes along. Just emotionally, you start to feel like something's niggling at you majorly. And it's something that's painful and something that's like inflamed. If it was a physical thing, this would be an inflammation. And also, if you're someone who suffers with chronic inflammation, then it's these kind of emotional, the pain sits in our emotional body. The pain body, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. Interesting that I've quoted him twice now, because he does, if you've ever read any of his books, The Power of Now and The New Earth or any of that, he talks about the pain body, and when that becomes activated, we really have no choice anymore. We just kind of act on instinct just to make ourselves feel better. And you may be faced with something that is too much to bear. If you, like for instance, if you did something and you're not prepared to look at it and face it, then that energy has to go somewhere. And that's when people start with dependency on substances and things like that. So the way to deal with this day is to ask for help from your guide, your angels, your guardian angel, your higher power, and to say, I am willing to progress and to move forward in my life, and I'm also willing to grow up and to be an adult and to own my part in things. If I hurt you as a child, I am sorry. I'm sorry I did that. Or if I made you feel badly about your self-image, about your body, then I'm sorry I made you feel that way. It's just apologizing, making amends, and that doesn't, poof, everything solved, but at least it kind of balances things out, and you can try and own your stuff. Because we all say things that we don't mean, we all say things in anger, and we all suffer with regret and guilt and shame when we've said those things, and we wish we could take them back, but we can't. And unfortunately today, all of those events will be very clear in your mind, and it's up to you to kind of see what can be done about this. And this can end up in a real blessing. If you bullied a little girl at school and you remember that you bullied her mercilessly, and you think of her today, go on Facebook, type her in, get in touch with her and say, hey, listen, you just popped into my head today. I'm really sorry that I bullied you through high school. I really didn't. I was just in pain myself, and I wanted to make myself feel better. And I'm very sorry. And that's not an excuse, but I just want to apologize. And that's what growing up is. It's saying, I'm not perfect. I've screwed up. I've made major mistakes. I've hurt people. I've done things which have had negative impact on other people. But that, and this is the important bit, that doesn't mean that I have to go sit in a corner and cry now for the rest of my life. It means that I can still move forward and succeed and have love and joy and everything wonderful in my life. Just because I'm not flawless doesn't mean that I can't continue with my purpose. So don't make this a bigger deal than it is. We all screw up. We all leave, a certain trail behind. If it's a trail of happy, lovely people, wonderful. If it's a slew of people who feel screwed over and heartbroken and lied to and ripped off, then you've got a little bit of work to do. But the this is coming up, it's an opportunity for you to make amends and to let go of the negativity that then creates a space, and more positivity can come in and encourage you on your path. And also it makes your ultimate end goal much more positive and much more beautiful. And people who are also free of those kind of energies will be more likely, or they are more likely to be attracted to you, because like attracts like. And then your life will start to change, and the people in it will be of a more kind of awakened nature, because you are. Like that old saying, you are who you hang out with. I really always, I find that very telling. I think that's very right, that saying. If you hang out with a bunch of, bozos, and you think that's okay, then obviously you're validating that behavior. So don't fall into the trap of looking at other people's faults today. Look at your own faults today. Resolve them. Don't feel guilty about them. Guilt is a wasted emotion. Either do something about them, or if you can't do anything about them, write a letter to that person if they're no longer here, or write a letter to yourself or to the problem, whatever it may be, and then burn it and let it go. It's about leaving something behind, negative emotional baggage, so that you can move forward. And it's kind of like a clean slate. This is like almost an astrological new year. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and this is, let's get our year started in terms of the astrology is concerned. And it's saying, the cards are saying that you're on the right path today. You're going to notice your emotional little things that came up when you were younger. And part of becoming the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups is owning your own stuff. Number wise, we've got 18, and 20 is 38, and 1 is 39. 3 and 9 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3, and 3 is about new beginnings and communication. So you're communicating with yourself, with those dark blossoms of memory. I remember, what did someone call them? Intrusive thoughts. Think of these flowers as the intrusive thought flowers. They're coming in today, and watch each one open and see it, and watch it go through its motions and learn something from it, and close it off and let it go, and then let it sail away on that wave. These emotional things, like if you have to make amends, or if you have to put something to bed, or just let go of something that you've been hanging on to, like a safety blanket emotionally. You can let that go today and watch it sail away like a lotus flower on a really calm, beautiful river. So if you are struggling with something like that, really heavy burden of guilt or shame that's lying on your shoulders, visualize yourself in a beautiful glen and see that problem come up, that guilt, that shame, and see them as these dark flowers of your soul that have really blossomed and you've carried around forever, and just give them to the water and watch them float away. And then that emptiness will force you to stand up and to get moving again. So get moving with your life. Keep moving forward. Keep learning, keep growing, keep bettering yourself. You're doing everything you're being asked to. So you can't do any better than you're doing. So well done. I hope you have a fabulous day. If you would like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the Readings tab to audio reading. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.